Hey, it's Jack from Jack Gately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. We have a lawsuit update, an FCC new lead generation update. Someone's selling a Doomsday bunker for sale in Missouri. And we have also an update about MV Realty, the scammers, MV Realty. So let's first talk about what is on the agenda for data today. We have a very important report out at 10 a.m. Scroll down here just a touch, for existing home sales. And as you know, we are in a transaction recession right now. And we are expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.8-ish on an annualized basis for the total number of existing home sales for a 12-month period. So, I don't think we're going to be moving much around that number. It's going to be around 3.8, 3.9, something like that. Certainly, no one's expecting a spike in that number anytime soon. So that will come out at 10 o'clock. We'll see where that goes. Again, I don't think it's going to be that much of a movement. We have seen some movement in interest rate expectations, and we're going to talk about that in this show as well. I just realized I hadn't been live with you folks for, I think, going on a week. Shame on me. I know. But I had been working on some other projects, and I didn't want to finish this week. Plus, it was the Monday holiday. I didn't want to finish this week without saying hello and keeping up to date with all of this, because it's super, super important. Redfin was out with a study that shows that older people, empty nesters, soon to be an empty nester right here, are staying in their homes. Woo, shock, right? So I have a house that could definitely fit a full family, and soon, come next fall, both of my kids will have graduated from high school, and off they go. So my son's already in Arizona. My daughter graduates from high school this spring and off to college. Of course, they come back like boomerangs and bad pennies. But why would I sell my house? And when I say me, it's not all about me, but it's about so many of people that are in my age bracket, mid 50s. Why would I've had my mortgage for a long time. I'm not going to tell you my interest rate, but you could probably guess it's on the lower side. Why would I sell? Unless I decide to move someplace because Massachusetts, where I'm from, is a high-cost state, like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, California. Those are all high-cost states. And just to move to a condo here in Massachusetts with a much higher rate, that doesn't make any sense at all. Unless I could cash out the equity I have here and then move to some place that would be low cost, like Tennessee, some parts of Tennessee, maybe not Nashville, because Nashville's giant metropolis now and it's expensive, but maybe other places in Tennessee. I really love Wyoming, and you could move to these places and take your equity, take it over there, buy a house, which would be smaller, probably not even have a mortgage. There's a lot to be said for it, but a lot of people don't want to make that type of move. So people like me stay in our house for a longer time, as Lance Lambert breaks down the Redfin report. What I love about Resi Club, as you know, it's one of my favorite websites. And it's been around for only 3 or 4 months now. One rental at a time just did a profile on Lance Lambert, and I just think what he's doing over there is fantastic. So 2 shouts out for Resi Club and Lance Lambert. But he did basically took the Redfin numbers, who owns the most large homes, and that would be 3 bedrooms plus. So I put myself in that category. Large homes includes only homes with at least 3 bedrooms plus. Baby boomer and empty nesters are in the blue. Everyone else is in gray, and millennials with kids is in orange. So just for kicks, so let's see if we can find Boston on this map here, because I live in the Boston metro area. Look at that. We have 25% of our 3-bedroom houses are owned by baby boomers here in Massachusetts or Boston market. 62 by everyone else, and 12.5% are owned by millennials with kids, which gets to a huge topic here in Massachusetts and maybe where you live in the country as well. Affordability for young families, very, very difficult in a market like Boston. You can see LA. Oh my God, look at this LA number. Millennials with kids owning 3-bedroom houses, 9.4%. Oh my God, that's awful. That's awful. Why did I take that away? Let's put that back up there, Jack. What is the number one? Indianapolis. Millennials with kids own 17% of the 3-bedroom plus homes. That seems like a healthier number. But, again, why would I sell? It doesn't make, unless I can convince my wife to move to Tennessee or Wyoming or someplace that, why would I sell? Or someplace, I hate Florida, so I'm not Florida. I'm not moving to Florida. Although I am going to Florida in less than a month. And yes, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's some real estate stories I want to cover when I'm down there. So I'm going to be doing that. We could do a couple of live streams while I'm down there. I'm also going to the Daytona 500. I'll be there in, I think that's a month from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me on that. All right. So let's get up to the lawsuit update. Real estate news is reporting that the Rex versus Zillow case is probably finally pretty much dead. So if you're not familiar with this case, Rex, which was a discount brokerage, sued Zillow for putting their listings on a different tab on Zillow because the Rex listings were not MLS listings. And Rex sued is some type of basis of those discriminatory / antitrust. And it finally, this appeared to have finally died on the vine. A jury ruled in September that Zillow was not deceptive in the way it displayed non-MLS listings. Judge denies motion for new trial. So, sorry, Rex. It's over. Inman is reporting, and I happen to notice that this Inman article here, by the way, I'd love to read your comments, and let's see, we do have one right here. Adam says, good morning. Well, good morning, Adam. How are you today? Happy Friday. I hope that you guys are looking forward to a nice weekend. By the way, here in Massachusetts, along the coast, we're expecting about 2 inches of snow this afternoon, which is nothing for some of you, and that would be devastating for some others of you. And I'm fired up. We got some great football games Saturday and Sunday. I'm looking forward to watching that Texans game, right? Did you see the Texans last week? Yeah, they were that. What's his name? Stroud. What a quarterback that kid is, huh? I'm looking forward to that game. That's looking exciting. A lot of good games. I hear Taylor Swift is on her way to Buffalo to watch the Buffalo game. So, and Inman is reporting, is about 6 days late on this reporting. Brokerage firm MV Realty has been barred from North Carolina. So we have covered this MV Realty story quite a bit on this channel in the past. They scammed some people here in Massachusetts. I just got a message from somebody that said they were scammed in Nevada by MV Realty. They had watched the channel. And so if you're watching again today, I'm going to say that if you were scammed by MV Realty, allegedly, then you definitely want to maybe contact your local state attorney general in the state that you live in and or seek legal counsel. Remember, I'm not an attorney, too smart to go to law school. But they have now been barred from ever holding a license in North Carolina. Let's go to the report here from North Carolina local media here. Hold on a second. Let me just cue this thing up here. You don't do a live stream for 3 or 4 days and you get out of practice. All right, let's cue it.
Accused of tricking homeowners has been permanently banned from operating in North Carolina. That ban comes nearly 10 months after the state attorney general sued MV Realty. Josh Stein's office alleges the brokerage was, quote, preying on vulnerable people to trick them into unfair long-term agreements. That included exclusive 40-year agreements that required homeowners to list their property for sale with the brokerage even after the...
I'm not sure if you heard that. It's a 40-year agreement, listing agreement.
Homeowner dies. We reached out to both MV Realty and the state attorney general's office. We have yet to hear back from either. Accused of tricking.
Unbelievable. So it's a 40-year agreement, and they put a lien on your property so that when you finally do sell your house, even if you're dead, you still owe MV Realty money because they've secured their commission with a lien against your property that lasts for 40 years. And how do they get this listing agreement, Jack? They offer the seller a nominal amount, like $1,200 or whatever. Hey, sign this listing agreement. We will give you $1,200 up front. But what the customer doesn't understand, because it's like beyond like even it's like hard to wrap your head around. They would offer you a 40-year listing agreement, which includes a lien against your house, but you get $1,200 up front. Does that sound like a good deal? No, it does not sound like a good deal. It's a bad deal. So more bad news for EXP. New suit accuses EXP of sexual harassment. So I think this is the second. Didn't the New York Times have a big expose about EXP and sexual harassment not that long ago? So this is kind of like a carry-on story from that. Of course, EXP has been one of the largest virtual brokerages. They're growing hands left and right. EXP fends off multiple sexual harassment suits. Another alleged victim has come forward with yet another case against the company, this time accusing team leader in Nevada of sexual harassment and retaliation. The Reno-based agent Misty Carter filed a suit Tuesday in federal court. The suit names defendants EXP as well as Chris Nevada and his Nevada real estate group. The guy is from Nevada and his last name's Nevada? Really? Among other things, the suit accuses Nevada of an array of misbehavior ranging from sexual remarks in the workplace, offering to pay Carter for sex, unwanted touching, and attempts at kissing. Oh my God. What? This does not belong in the workplace, obviously. Did this happen in Nevada and the guy is named Nevada? Is that true? No, that cannot be true. Is it? Yes, this time accusing a team leader in Nevada. And the guy's name is Nevada. Wow. Color me surprised. All right, so you might remember, of course, that the National Association of Realtors was ensnared with a sexual harassment, allegedly, situation with its former president, Kenny Parcell, who denies the allegations, we should note. But yet he resigned. That was over the summertime. That was the first of the NAR presidents to resign. Tracy Casper resigned much more recently, as you know, because of some type of blackmail plot against her. Who knows? We never got the details of that, right? Never got the details. And the last time I checked, NAR has still not, someone fact check me on this, NAR still has not posted Mr. Sears' presentation, which he exclusively released to Realtor Magazine. The best of my knowledge, they still haven't put it out on their socials. And someone fact check me on that. By the way, I have a question for my audience, and thank you so much for watching. I am not a lawsuit expert, as you know. I'm just some knucklehead that learned how to read headlines, right? But what I'd like to know from you, if any of you know, is when it comes to doing these reports on these federal courthouse developments, is there some way to kind of like track these things? I'm aware of the PACER system, but that is definitely an awkward system that doesn't send you notifications, the best of my knowledge. But like for a story like this, court says $2 billion commission suit against NAR must go forward. Is there some way to get notified of these developments prior to when they're written in the media? Just anybody out there that has more knowledge on that, I'd love to see it in the comments. Appreciate that. A federal court judge denied a request from defendants to suspend the case pending the outcome of post-trial motions after Stitzer Burnett. So if you're not aware, not that long ago, I think even this year, The lawyers for Stitzer Burnett, the defendants, filed a slew of motions that were more routine. They're probably not going to be successful. A motion to dismiss, all these other ones, and they're probably not going to be successful. So this other lawsuit, remember the total trebled damages in the Stitzer Burnett case were like $5.5 billion. So understand that this headline is a suit about $200 billion. $200 billion. The federal commission lawsuit seeking damages of more than $200 billion will move forward despite a request from the National Association of Realtors and major brokerages to suspend the case while another similar suit winds its way through the courts. So we're still waiting. By the way, the name of this case is Gibson. We're still waiting for and there's this fancy name for it. So I'm just going to litigation consolidation board or whatever it's called, some fancy lawyer name. But basically it's a board. I think they're based out of Nebraska or Omaha or something, where it takes all these cases that are similar and then it combines them together. So I'm going to just call it the litigation consolidation board or something like that. And so we're still kind of waiting for that to happen. I think that would actually be an advancement, because one of the things that we definitely need with this situation is some type of universal resolution. And so I am looking forward to, again, universally ignorant upon the name of this litigation consolidation board, we'll just call it. I'm looking forward to that process taking place so that we can kind of move forward with one vehicle as a lawsuit, and we can then universally across the country adhere to whatever those new rules are going to be from that lawsuit. It is interesting that this case is going to continue to be pursued by the same judge who decided Stitzer Burnett. And I wonder if they mentioned the name of the, no, I don't see it here. But there is this effort, you should be aware, to consolidate all of these lawsuits. And of course, when that happens, we will keep you posted. Any other comments? No. By the way, I love your comments. So anybody wants to throw in a comment, please don't hesitate. And again, if anyone understands how to get notified of these court developments before it hits the media, somehow the media finds out about them, right? So are they getting tipped off? Are they reading press releases, or are they have some internet tool that just notifies? I'd love to hear from you. I don't know how to do that. Thanks. Howard Hanna, the real estate agency, has been dropped from one of the big lawsuits. So Gibson, which is the case we just talked about, the $200 billion case, no longer includes Howard Hanna. There was no reason given, but the plaintiffs in the case voluntarily dropped Howard Hanna from the case. That's interesting, huh? Right? There's got to be some type of story. I don't want to speculate because I don't know, but and I have no inkling what, but it is curious, right? That Howard Hanna just completely out of the blue. Oh, we're not going to sue you anymore. I mean, good news for Howard Hanna. Don't get me wrong. You would think it's probably good news for Howard Hanna, but maybe in some weird lawyer thing, it's actually bad news. But I don't know. So there's kind of a strange development for Howard Hanna. Did they flip? Are they now going to testify on behalf of the plaintiffs? Is some kind of thing like that? I don't know. You tell me. But I thought that was an interesting development. California slapped with second commission. The hits just keep on coming. I think we're maybe up to 18 or 19 lawsuits. You need maybe I should start a spreadsheet. I mean, I joke about that, but maybe we actually do need a spreadsheet. And I wonder if we could do a spreadsheet that would be crowdsourced, because there's going to be maybe even dozens of lawsuits eventually. And maybe there's some type of spreadsheet where we can all chip in to keep it up to date, because it's become unwieldy. I mean, it was interesting when it was 3 or 4 cases, you could kind of keep track almost in your head. But when you're at 18 plus lawsuits, it's almost impossible to keep track. Which brings us to the next one. Home sellers sue Nevada realtors. NAR after $40,000 commission bill. Las Vegas resident Nathaniel Wally alleges the National Association of Realtors, Nevada Regional MLS, Northern Nevada, and state and local realtor groups conspired to inflate broker commissions. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before. Nothing changes, right? The Smiths. No. Is that the Smiths? Yes, it is the Smiths. Yeah, so nothing changes. I still love you. Right? That's the Smiths. I think it is. So the hits just keep on coming. One lawsuit after another. That's why I think once we get to the consolidation, I think it'll be a little bit easier to track. And that's why, once again, I ask you if there's some type of sourcing that we can get notified of these new lawsuits and any changes in the existing lawsuits, kind of somehow, like, notified before it just, the reporters got to get it from someplace, right? Where do they get their information to write these articles? Yeah, interested to know how to crowdsource that. Thank you so much. Good morning. Sharon says a spreadsheet would be helpful. Yes, it would. Yeah, I think it would be. Thank you very much. And good morning, Sharon. Mortgage rates. Let's switch gears here. Mortgage rates. We are now looking. Wow, look at that 10-year. I told you. The 10-year is up 4.151 this morning. 4.15. 4.151. 151. Yeah, over 4. Well over 4. And our mortgage rates are, when you look at Mortgage News Daily, we are now at 6. We'll just call it 6.9. 6.9. So we're creeping back almost to the psychologically impacting level of 7%. We are around the corner from 7%. In other words, we've bumped off the lows. If you look at the chart, let's see if we can pull up the chart here on the 30-year. You see, we bottomed out on this 30-year chart. That was when? I think that was December 15th. That was the bottom of the chart. Maybe we also hit the same bottom just before New Year's. And since then, we've been on a little bit of a bump up. And now we're almost at 7 again. And I remember when we hit 7 back, when was that? In July. When we hit 7 in July and then stayed above 7, I remember like the whole market went, 7%. I mean, psychologically it hurt. I also heard a really good observation the other day, and I think I'm going to credit this to Lance Lambert, but I could be wrong about this, but I think it was him that I heard. So I'm going to say Lance Lambert, but I think it was him when he said that the home builders had found the interest rate that thaws the market. So as you know, we're in this like rate lock situation where, as you discussed, like, why would I sell to get a higher rate, right? It's dumb, right? Why would I do? But there's got to be at some lower rate where I'd be like, okay, it makes sense for me again. And the home builders seem to have found that, because certainly they're offering 30-year mortgages at like 5.5% right now, a lot of them. And that seems to have thawed the market. People will be okay with 5.5. They have found the number. Are we near 5.5 right now? No, we're a tick away from 7. So if 5.5 thaws the market, we're nowhere near that right now. Yeah, so that's not good news. Let's take a look at the FedWatch tool. And if you look at, we'll bring this up on the screen here for you. Let's just go to the current expectations. Not showing good. Oh, there we go. That's better. For January, we're basically looking at the chances of a rate hike, a rate cut at 2.5%. So nobody thinks that they're going to cut rates for January. All right. Just by the way, the January date is the last day of the month, January 31st. When we look at March, this has changed. In fact, if you go to the I think it's the historical tab. No, not that. That's unreal. The comparative tab. That's better. a week ago, if we look at the expectations for a rate cut in January, a week ago, they were at 77%. And now the expectations for a rate cut in March are at 52%. So over the week, we have seen a significant, I think it's a wake up of the market, because a lot of people, including me, had said that the market kind of got out ahead of itself. They were saying 6 or 7 rate cuts for 2024. And I was like, that's ridiculous. If we're going to cut rates, or the Fed is going to cut rates 6 or 7% times, that means we have like we're facing like a depression in terms of, not a soft landing. We're facing one of those, a crash. And if we're going to cut rates 6 or 7%, and finally the market kind of, I think, is now coming to the sense that the chances of 6 or 7 rate cuts for 2024 are less likely. And now we've seen the fact that, again, this is kind of remarkable. It's a big move. I know this is somewhat volatile, but we're seeing a week ago 77% chance of a rate cut in March, and now we're down to 52%. So a huge change in expectations over the course of the week. Do we have another comment? No, we don't. I was noticing this article over at Real Estate News, and this is more like a journalistic editorial here, but there was a feature story about Deborah Kamen. Is that how you pronounce it? She's the real estate reporter at the New York Times, and she's written many articles, including, let's just say, Powerful Realtors Group loses its grip on the industry. National Association of Realtors is facing antitrust lawsuits, sexual harassment allegations. She's been on this story and covering it from one of the biggest media platforms in the world. And I just thought it was somewhat unseemly for a news site to then do a feature on a reporter. Yeah, maybe just call me like old-fashioned, but when I was the editor of my college newspaper, I was always taught that the reporter should never be the story. But maybe I'm just old-fashioned, right? I don't know. But that's just the way I look at it. Certainly, the media landscape has changed in that advocacy journalism is a much bigger thing, and that's okay. If you're going to go out and say that you're writing this piece from a particular point of view, then I guess being featured is no big deal. But if you're going to go after it like the New York Times is, that we're objective, then getting featured in the media, in the trade publication of the industry you cover is, I don't really feel. If she was like getting featured in the Columbia Trade Journalism School, like that would be fine. She's speaking to a class at Columbia, fine. She's doing an interview with journalist students, that'd be fine. But to make her the star in a trade publication that covers real, I don't know. Don't be the star. If you want to be a knucklehead YouTuber, then fine. But don't hold yourself out to be the super objective person and then start doing profiles on yourself. I just don't think so. If you want to be a star, hey, YouTube, it's for you too. It's even for New York Times reporters. Ask Alex Berenson. All right, moving on. There has been a change in the FCC rules. Now, this does not affect me and my agency because we don't advertise. All of our business forever at our agency has always been people that usually have a direct relationship or some type of indirect relationship, friend of a friend, the sphere, right? And that's how we market. I have never spent a penny at Zillow or bought a lead You know, the massive amount of money people do that, right? And I know a lot of agents that spend money on Zillow and elsewhere. The last time I actually advertised, I think I bought a banner at my kid's Little League field because, you know, it's kind of cool, right? You know, $200 for the banner, whatever. But that kid is now graduated from high school and he's off to Arizona. And so I don't advertise. Could I do more business? Maybe. I don't know. But my profit margin is incredibly high because I don't advertise. I hustle and create social media content. Yes. So I have a different type of cost, but I don't have a financial cost. But for those of you who are out there that buy leads from Zillow and elsewhere, the world is changing. And I want to show you 2 videos and talk a little bit about this. And I really want to learn from you. I'd love to see it in the comments here if this is going to affect your business. Because effectively what they're doing is the new FCC rules, if I can summarize it in the most concise way possible, means that when they create an online lead, in order to transfer it to you, they need specific written permission to transfer it specifically to you and to you only. They cannot sell it to multiple recipients and or sell it without the consent of the consumer or resell it. There, you know what? Let's just skip to the YouTube video. This guy here is going to explain it for us. He's in the insurance business, but the rules are the same.
Officially, here in about 5-6 months, buying leads will completely be illegal. Okay, in most cases. Here's what I mean. The FCC just passed a new rule. It was issued on December 13th of 2023, just a few weeks ago. And the ruling is based on the fact that a lead can only go to one person from now on, and the consumer has to know where the information is going. Here's what I mean. All this shared lead stuff, dude, it's gone. All the leads and the ads that don't tell consumers where the lead's going, or all the reselling of age leads, dude, it's freaking gone. Okay. Like I've got a buddy that's doing $3.6 million a year in age leads. He just built a massive company and this huge software and all this.
So an age lead is a rehash lead. It's something that they already sold to somebody else, and now it's 3-4 weeks old, maybe even older. And right, they're probably cheaper, and they have it. There are people that take longer to make a decision. And yeah, you can't buy this guy is an insurance guy. The same thing is going to be affecting law firms, mortgage companies, probably real estate too.
Stuff, dude, it's gone. Okay, you will not be able to do it anymore. Okay, which sucks for him, right? However, okay, I'm sharing this because we are going to lean into lead generation and help agents with lead generation. I'll put a link below that I can actually help you.
All right, just like any good entrepreneur, he's going to coach you on how to get leads on your own, which is what we already do here at Jack Gately Real Estate. We create our own leads. I found this other guy, and I think I like the way he described it a little bit better. So I'm gonna show him. He's kind of a new YouTube, not very polished, but I like what he had to say.
Shake up how you've been handling leads. So grab a coffee and let's get into it. On December 13th, the FCC rolled out new rules that are changing the game for everyone in the lead generation business. First off, they're cracking down on robotext and robocalls. Yep. The FCC is now allowing mobile carriers to block texts from certain red flag numbers. This is a big win for consumers, but it also means you need to be extra careful about how you reach out to potential clients. But here's the kicker. The do not call list protections now apply to texting as well. So if a number is on the list, it's off limits for marketing texts. You've got to double check your list to make sure that they're compliant. Now, let's talk about the really big one, the lead generator loophole. This is probably going to hit some agencies pretty hard. The new rules mean that lead generators and comparison shopping websites need to get consumer consent for each and every seller they sell to. Gone are the days of that one consent covering every telemarketer. And this is a huge game changer, folks. And that's just the third-party stuff. I really haven't dove into what the first-party impact is going to look like for everybody. So what does this mean for you? Well, you're going to have to be more strategic. It's about quality over quantity.
Whoa, that's a good point. Quality over quantity.
and focus on building genuine consent-based marketing for your leads. It's time to up your game and connect with your clients that's not just legal, but also respectful and effective. Thanks.
All right. I thought that was well spoken. Nice job. I'd love to give this guy some credit here. That guy is Nick Berry. And I think the lesson here is if you are somehow buying leads, it's going to get a lot more expensive. And also the flow of those leads is going to decline a lot. The whole message here, big strategic message, is it's much better to do what I do, which is actually have a relationship, a pre-existing relationship with a community. So you may have heard me say this before, but I don't really care whether you're into motocross or you're into bird watching, which are probably two completely diverse topics. But if you can be the real estate agent for the motocross community in St. Paul, you're going to have plenty of business, right? Exactly. If you can be the real estate agent for bird watchers in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, or South Carolina, where is Kitty Hawk? In Kitty Hawk, you could have plenty of business. So if you can niche down and write a bird watching blog or a bird watching Substack or a bird watching YouTube or whatever it is, Facebook, whatever, and then once you earn that audience, every once in a while you drop the hint, hey, by the way, if you like this content, support me in this content, help me buy or sell a house with me. Oh my God, that is so powerful. And guess what? You now have a brand. You don't have to pay anybody, so your margin just went way up. Yeah. So hint, if you're thinking about doing something like that, now might be the time, or at least. It's a crackdown on lead sharing. It's a 1-to-1 consent. It's very, very important. So when you fill out a form, by the way, this goes into effect in the middle of the year. When you fill out a form, the lead gen website is now going to say, is it okay for us to send your lead information to Sally the agent? And you're going to have to there's going to be some process by which you check the box yes. And this is going to be a big impact for some people in our business. Cody says, good morning. Good morning, William. Caddy. William Caddy. Good morning, William. Good to see you. My son's name is William. My dad's name too was. David says, no advertising and no NAR. He loves it. Yeah. So there could be no NAR at some point. I know there are some efforts to come up with an alternative trade association. And most certainly one of the kind of the biggest outspoken, or not outspoken, but outstanding questions about where this whole thing is going to go is, at some point, will there be a disconnect like we enjoy here in Massachusetts? Will there be a disconnect between NAR membership and MLS membership? In other words, will you no longer need to be a NAR member to get an MLS account? And fortunately, in Massachusetts, we have a broker-owned MLS, which covers the whole state and has about 80% of the market share, I would guess. It's called MLS PIN. And you don't have to be a realtor to be a member of MLS PIN. And that's why I'm not a realtor. Plus, I own my own forms. So we don't need to be realtors. So every year, I save my agents hundreds of dollars. And it's also been a way to attract agents to join my agency when I say, hey, you know what? You know that $700? Yeah, you don't have to pay that. And they're like, oh, really? And no, you don't have to pay that. And what about the forms? Oh, we own our own set of forms. Yeah. By the way, free e-signature. Yeah, I don't charge my agents for e-signature. I pay for it. And it's a great deal. So there are number of efforts out there to bifurcate these two things. That would be earth-shattering for the total number of NAR members nationwide, because why would you be an NAR member if you're not compelled to be an NAR member? As I've said before, I think that one of the things that we're seeing in the lawsuits is a monopoly against consumers. But I have always said that there's another major monopoly, and that is NAR against its own agents. NAR against its own agents. All right, coming up next. Here's our next story. Where is it here? End of the world bunker listed on Zillow. It's a 10,000 square foot bunker with blast doors. And oh, thank God, it's got EMP shielding. So here it is. It's a little house, and it comes, of course, with the obligatory shipping container. And then you go down like these industrial stairs that looks like it's in a missile silo. There's these huge blast doors, and then it's pretty nice. Look at, you got your oriental rugs, your nice bathroom, spiral staircase. Here's your huge blast doors. This is going to save you from Armageddon. It is unfortunately in the middle of Polo, Missouri. That's where you're going to have to ride out the nuclear winter. 2.5 foot thick concrete walls and two 3,000-pound blast doors. I think it's going for $2 million. And if you don't know where Polo, Missouri is, it's got 500 people in it, and it is northeast of Kansas City. There it is right there. So you'll be underground, so it won't really matter. Yeah, I don't think a lot happens in Polo. And when you Google Polo, Missouri, what comes up is a roadside memorial picture. So I don't really think that there's a lot going on in Polo, Missouri. By the way, I did, in researching this story, realize that Mark Zuckerberg is building a $100 million bunker over in Hawaii. So, what does he know that we don't know? Let's see. We have some more comments here. Sounds like someone says, sounds like an old Strategic Air Command missile silo. It does sound like that, doesn't it? Yes. Maybe it's like adapted from that because those doors look really, really old. And when you look at the map, I mean, look at where it is here. By the way, that is some of the nicest part of the country. I had the chance about 2 years ago to travel from, where did I travel from? I traveled from Fort Morgan, Colorado to Topeka and never took the interstate. And so I went through all these little towns in northern Kansas, Phillipsburg, Atwood, Bird City. And what a great experience. And this is how I travel now when I take these big trips, which unfortunately I didn't take last year, but in the last couple of years, I've taken quite a few. And as much as often I am off the interstate, and I went through Texas like that, all through Texas, never went on, I traveled the entire width of Texas, never went on the interstate, and strongly recommending it. I went through Colorado the same way, strongly recommending it. All right, so I think that is a wrap. Let's see, do we have any other comments? Thank you, Sharon. Sharon says thank you very much. You have a great weekend. Enjoy your football games. This has been really fun. I missed being with you, and I'll be back again early next week. All right, talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the cold if you're cold, which is pretty chilly up here. We're gonna